Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? My name is the Nanu, aka the man with the most biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And with this video here, as you guys can tell by the screen here, we're going to be talking about Shazam. And just like we did with the Aquaman video yesterday, let me pause something real quick here. There we go. This movie looks damn good. Damn good. Looks like they're doing their thing. I mean, I can't, just like with Aquaman, I want to go in ripping, WB a new one, but I can't do it. This is comic book accurate. It looks like it's set in the same universe as everybody else, or as everything else. You had a Superman reference, a Batman reference, Aquaman reference. So this is a part of the same thing. I'm hoping that future movies that WB do, with DC superheroes are going to be, circled up in their universe, but I don't know if that's going to be the case with this whole worlds of DC that they're talking about. Sounds like it may be some picking and choosing as far as what movies fit in their shared universe and everything, if they're going to still make one. But yeah, movie looks damn good. I haven't seen anything really in the trailer that makes me like, I think they fucked up. The only thing is I hate when they race swap characters. I forget what the black guy's name is, but he's like the French black guy actor who's been in tons of stuff. I know he was in Guardians of the Galaxy, tons of B-rate movies I've seen him in. And they made him the wizard Shazam in this movie. And I wish it was an old white guy, or like an older, not Middle Eastern guy, but I guess an older guy with darker skin, but not black, because that's how his character's always been in the comics. It doesn't bug me all that much, but it's like I hate when they race swap characters for no reason at all. But outside of that, yeah, movie looks damn good. The suit looks a little bit weird. Only because it clearly looks like it's a molded suit. But then again, they all have that. But I guess with him, it just bugs me. Maybe it's just me, but like the walk on the screen when he just transformed that you guys just saw, he looks weird because it's like with everybody else, and when I mean everybody else, I mean Batman, Aquaman, Superman. Their suits kind of fit tighter to their body, whereas this guy, you can tell it's almost like he doesn't lift weights. So he looks like an average guy, but he has like a couple inches of muscle padding on. So it just looks awkward. Whereas Superman and with Batman, you can tell it looks like, okay, they got buff a little bit for this role. Their suits don't look as awkward. But this guy's, it takes me out of it because it's like, it just looks a little bit weird. But outside of that, that's just my personal quirk. Outside of that, movie looks damn good. You got the whole Billy Batson thing going. He's adopted. I don't really know why. I don't know if they're gonna say what happened to his parents, but it's one of those things where it's like he's an adopted kid being brought into this house, and he's a good-natured kid, and he gets, the wizard Shazam picks him to be the protector of humanity and to be the bearer of the powers that he bestows him. And it looks like, I guess from then on, he's gonna have a bad guy in this. From what I understand, it's not gonna be Black Adam, even though I think it probably should be. But later on, it's gonna be Doctor something. But he's like a scientist, like bad guy, somebody not on his physical level, but an intellectual one. And from what I understand, I haven't read the old school Captain Marvel comics. So I've just read the newer stuff when it comes to DC and the stuff they had in the 90s. And it looks like this is one of his older bad guys from back in the day. So I don't know how they're going to do that. This trailer didn't really show him fighting his bad guy all that much. This looks like it's going to be one of those origin movies where they're going to show you how he gets his powers. Then he's going to work with his, with his best friend to understand what powers that he has, like being bulletproof, flying, and all the, the powers that come with the Shazam mantle. And what I think is going to happen, and this is just me, it's not bad, but they kind of got to get it out the way. It's one of those things where you can't just jump somebody into a Shazam movie. because nobody's gonna know who the hell that is. You know, it's not like Batman and Superman where you can be like, oh, we don't have to tell his origin story. You know, forget it. No, this is a character you have to do that with. So you have to show him getting his powers. You have to show him learning how to use them. You have to show him being a little kid in an adult's body, because that's half of his character. You know, you have to show all of that. And so I have a feeling by them doing all of that in the trailer, because it looks like that's probably going to be like 70% of the movie. And maybe he might have a tussle with the bad guy maybe halfway through. And then the bad guy is going to be like, oh, you know, you're magic, and I'm going to learn how to do something with magic. And then he's going to come back at the end. He's probably going to have to fight him at the end and beat him. That's probably how it's going to go down. You're not going to get, you know, the Dark Knight when it comes to the bad guy and the hero fighting each other. It's not going to happen in this. This movie's all going to, you know, this is going to just be him being Shazam, walking around doing little kid stuff as an adult. And granted, that's fine, but like I said, that kind of has to be there, because that's who the character is. From what I'm reading about online, a lot of people are saying that, oh, that kind of takes them out of the movie, and they want it to be a more traditional story, but it can't be. That's not Shazam. You know, that's not Captain Marvel. You have to have that. I mean, that's the modern take on Shazam. You have to have him be a little kid in an adult's body. You have to have him do all the little kid stuff and making the jokes, and you know, because it's like, what would you do if you suddenly got superpowers but you were like 14? You know, that's the kind of thing that they got to explain in this movie, and you know, get that across. Now with a sequel, you know, I would want them to, once you get all that out the way, you know how the character is, so then it could just be him. But then you don't gotta show all of that stuff. You can just have that be your character. But one thing that I think they are messing up on is with this here, it's tied into everything else, and I'm hoping that, you know, Black Adam's gonna be in a sequel, because he's like one of Shazam's main bad guys, if not the second one. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, they've casted The Rock as Black Adam for like years now, but they're not doing shit with it. And he's gonna get a movie by himself. So I'm like, well, how you gonna give him a movie and not have Shazam be in his movie? Like, that makes no sense. And how you gonna have a Shazam movie without Black Adam in it? You know, that's like Sony's fuck up later this year making a Venom movie without Spider-Man. Can't do it. You know, you literally can't do it. I mean, who's Black Adam gonna fight? Are they gonna make it an anti-hero movie of him fighting bad guys? That's not Black Adam. I mean, you can't make a Black Adam movie without Shazam, unless you do it like when he first got his powers. You know, way back when, because he's a different character. He got his powers back in Egypt. Just to explain how that all went down. It wasn't Egypt per se, but it was this country called Kahndaq in the comic books. Way back when, the Wizard gave Black Adam, I forget what his actual name is, but he gave Black Adam similar powers. And he, at first he used those powers to do what he wanted, but eventually he got greedy, became bad, and started using those powers to his advantage, you know what I'm saying? Or taking advantage of the powers he were given. So that's why in Shazam, he wants to give them to somebody good, aka a kid, somebody who's naturally good-hearted like Billy Batson. That's why he wants to choose somebody like that versus just choosing an average Joe who's already established as a grown man. That's why he wants to choose somebody who's a little bit lighthearted, because he don't want that to happen again. Because the powers that he's given him can change the world. It's like you're turning a little kid into Superman. So he wants to make sure that at least they're good-hearted, that they're not going to use those powers to their own ends. So, like I said, you kind of have to have him in the Shazam franchise. I mean, if they're making 3 movies, if they follow the whole Marvel formula like that, I'm assuming they're going to do at least one, and then if it's popular, they're going to probably make a sequel to it. But you have to have The Rock in there as Black Adam. Because, I mean, he fits the character. He has the look. Just dress him up in like a black outfit like Shazam's, put a yellow lightning bolt on his chest, and have him be arrogant as fuck the whole movie. And then you can have that play off against Shazam and Billy Batson, and they can make a really cool movie out of that. Hell, if you want to bring in somebody else, bring in Superman. They did a little animated feature movie a few years back of like something like that happening, where they basically told the origin story, but in between that you had Black Adam show up, you had Superman show up, try to fight Black Adam, and they both teamed up to fight him. So I mean, they could do something like that. If you want to bring in other characters, you can even bring in Wonder Woman, and then you can bring in a lot of not necessarily objectifying type stuff, but you can play on the dynamic of kind of like how you had Ultimate Spider-Man in the comic books play off against all of the older women that was in his comic books, like Elektra. When he first saw Elektra for the first time, he couldn't stop looking at her breasts because he's a 15-year-old kid and she was a grown adult with big titties. So it's you can have that with with Shazam, you know, have everybody think he's an adult, but have him try to act like one, but it's like he's still a kid where he does certain little kid things. So you can do that, you know, bring in Wonder Woman. Anybody else? Well, you can really bring in anybody else. The Flash. I mean, you just have to give a reason to make the people go to his city. I forget what his city's named, but you know, you can have them track a bad guy there. I mean, the only person who probably wouldn't fit would be Batman, so you probably can't do him. But outside of that, you could probably introduce anybody that they had in Justice League. Maybe not Aquaman too, because you have to have him there to water for that. You could probably do a cameo if you want, but you know, he couldn't be a part of the movie, as it were, or have like an extended thing. But if you can get like the Flash, Wonder Woman, or Superman to kind of be in the movie, kind of like how Wonder Woman was in, you know, Batman v Superman, you know, where she wasn't really like a part of the movie, but she was there for like a good 10-15 minutes. That could work too. Doubt they're gonna do that though. I think this is gonna be like a solo movie, and then everything's up in the air at that point. Like, I don't even know if they're still gonna make that Flash movie that they was talking about. So they're kind of up in the air. I think this and Aquaman has to come out because they're already done, and I think they don't know what they're gonna do next with everything else, because since their shared universe failed, so WB doesn't want to invest more stuff into it if they think the brand is tainted. And like I said in my Aquaman video, it's not the brand. DC Comics and the brand of superheroes, they've been out for 80 some years, or 70 going on 80 years. So it's not the brand. Your brand is fine. Your brand is the top comic book heroes in the world. Your brand is perfect. The problem is the movies. They're fucking up. They need to learn how to, and I say this with every video where I talk about this kind of sort of stuff, they need to take a hands-off approach. You know, pick a decent director, plan out your movie verse, stick to it, and not be so heavy-handed with your movie has to have 5 different things like they did with Batman v Superman. You make one movie and then you take the popular things out of everybody's character. Like Batman, you know, you take his most popular story and all the elements that make Superman popular, like Doomsday, the death of Superman, and then you jam it all in one movie. It's like, no, you don't do that. Each one of those things can be one movie. Like the death of Superman, that should have been, and I swear to God, like, yeah, that's the first thing I said. The death of Superman story, just by itself, that should have been WB's Infinity War. I mean, do it like they did in the comic books. You have 10, 15 years, or maybe going on 20 years of movies to pick from. You have all of these superhero characters that's part of the new Justice League. Have Doomsday come in, wreck them all, and then kill Superman. That should be your Infinity War, where you have people crying, where it's like, we don't know if Superman gonna come back after this. You know, don't do it like that. Don't show him come back at the end of the movie like they did in Batman v Superman. You know, don't make those corporate heavy-handed decisions just trying to get money. Because if you want that Marvel money, they can get it. They can easily get it. They just got to take their time, do things organically, focus on characters. And then, you're gonna have some movies that fail. Not every superhero gels with modern audiences and stuff like that. And you just gotta pick and choose which ones you want to promote. Promote the Trinity, promote your Justice League. But outside of that, if Shazam is popular, promote him. Have him be a background character if he's not. Bring in Green Lantern, bring in several, hell, bring in the Core. You know, have that be a storyline by itself. You know, do the whole Blackest Night thing once you got to that point. Like, DC has tons of stories that they can do, tons of great stories. Hell, if you want to make a Batman focused movie 20, 30 years down the line, Tower of Babel, have his plans take out the Justice League. You know? Like there's tons of shit they can do that would like be on par with Infinity War, but you got to get to that point. I mean, you got to get the first 5 pages done before you focus on the next 20 or 30. And I think they can do it. And like I said, at least, to wrap things back up with Shazam, at least with this, I am hoping to God that Shazam and Aquaman are kind of the new way they're doing their movies. Because these seem like good standalone character-driven movies first, universe building second. And I'm not saying every movie has to build to your universe, but it has to just be a part of it. I mean, you don't have to have Easter egg, security cam videos of your Justice League in your movies like they did with Batman v Superman, but at least a cameo or an Easter egg, something that ties it all together. Have like Billy Batson flipping through channels and it's like, a tidal wave attacks Metropolis. Just have a news story, explaining like Aquaman, and what he did. Just to reference something from that movie. You don't have to it's not hard to make a movie, or at least to make a superhero movie, because it's all laid out there. It's not like you have to create anything. You already have the stories that you're pulling from in the comics. You just have to translate what that is to film. And half of the time, you already got that done if you go watch the old Justice League cartoon. So, I mean, and all the recent animated movies that they've been putting out. So, it's already done. You're just translating that to 3D. So, like I said, I hope that with these 2 new movies that this is going to be a thing going forward for all of their stuff. But I don't know how I feel about this Worlds of DC. That has me a little bit shaken with their product. And I just don't know if that's going to tie into everything else. But anyways, fellas, my name is Dananu, aka the man with the most biggest and the most blackest privilege on YouTube. And let me know what you think down in the comments below. Peace out.